Hi, this is Dr. GSN Koteshwara, working as Associate Professor at Puner Lakshmaya Education Foundation, deemed to be University in Department of Pharmaceutics. As a part of International FDP on Environment and Sustainability, being organized by Dr. D.Y. Patel College of Engineering. So here I am going to present this video. In week 1 video, I have covered the process called as tablet manufacturing, which is related to the preparation of tablets by following different granulation methods and how it is related to the environment sustainability. In the week 2, I have covered some of the ISO standards that are related to the pharmaceutical industry. Now in this week 4, at the end of this video, the learner is able to understand different ISO standards, some of the ISO standards related to pharma industry and some of the carbon emission examples related to pharma industry and sustainability competition for my selected topic of granulation in tablets manufacturing. And this is what a brief presentation given in the week 1 related to the wet granulation, dry granulation and direct compression used for the preparation of tablets in pharmaceutical industry. Because of this these different operations, unit operations present in the tablets manufacturing, there is a contribution for the pollution and which is related to the carbon dioxide emission, and we have discussed about them in week 1. Now we will go for the further discussion. So here some of the ISO standards that are related with pharmaceutical industry. There are so many hundreds of ISO standards, but I am quoting here some of the ISO standards taken from www.iso.org source. These are the ISO standards like 9000, which talks about quality management system in production environments. And in my selected area of pharma industry, it is monitoring the overall product quality. In ISO 9001, the quality management principles will be covered right from the higher management like leadership to a level of customer satisfaction in the process, like involvement of the employees, their contribution, overall quality management and any risk assessments. All those things will be covered. In ISO 14000, environmental management standards in production environments will be a guideline. In our selected area, the solvents used or the machinery used, their unit operations, how they are contributing for the pollution of environment, or how to handle the sustainability of the environment, or the sustainability of the machinery being used. So all those things will be covered with the guidelines of this ISO 14000. Coming to the ISO 14001, which talks about environment management, here overall environmental impact and vice versa of the unit operations involved will be covered from this ISO 14001. So some specific guidelines related to the productions or materials used, these are the guidelines. ISO 11238, which talks about the substances in pharmacy, we call it as active pharmaceutical ingredients, and ISO 11239, which talks about pharmaceutical dosage forms, units of presentation, routes of administration and packaging. For example, tablets and capsules, they are meant for oral route of administration and they are solid dosage forms. So those things will be under this heading. ISO 11240, units of measurement, like how much quantity has to be used, a diluent or lubricant, like that. ISO 11615, it talks about regulated medicinal product information. Here in pharmaceutical industry, it talks about the development, authorization, even post-marketing and renewal of the withdrawal from the market of products. All those things will be considered. ISO 11616, regulated pharmaceutical product information is the title. So it talks about specific levels of information relevant to the identification of a medicinal product or a group of medicinal products. So these are the some of ISO standards that are related to pharmaceutical industry. I thought of quoting here. Now, talking about the carbon emission examples, there is a brief case study which was published in the conversation.com website. So I quote that case study, which was under the title "Pharma's Share in Greenhouse Emissions," quoted as "More than Automotive Sector." A study published in that website. So here they are claiming that more than 200 companies represent the global pharmaceutical market, but only 25 consistently reported their direct and indirect greenhouse gas emissions in the past 5 years. So this article was published in the last year 2019. So they are claiming that only 25 companies were giving their complete details. And of course this is only 15 reports were there related to the emissions since 2012. So the thing is like 48.55 tons of carbon dioxide equivalent emissions are there per $1 million. About 55% which is greater than the automotive sector at 31.4 tons of carbon dioxide emissions per $1 million for the same year of their production. Based on the analysis, all the statistics are based on direct emissions generated by the company's operations and the indirect emissions generated by the electricity purchased by these companies from different utility companies. The total global emissions of the pharmaceutical sector is said to be counting for about 52 megatons of carbon dioxide emission in 2015, which is more than the 46.4 megatons of carbon dioxide emission generated by the automotive sector in the same year. So the value of the pharmaceutical market, even though it is smaller than the automotive market, as per the others calculations, the pharma sector market is 28% smaller yet 13% more polluting. In the market value is smaller, the pollution contribution is said to be more for the pharmaceutical market. So it indicates the importance to be taken or the importance to be given for the environment sustainability from pharma giants. So there is a lot of variations in the details. For example, within the pharmaceutical sector, for example, the emissions intensity of Eli Lilly was reported by this magazine as 77.3 tons of carbon dioxide emission per $1 million, which was 5.5 times greater than the Roche, counting for 14 tons carbon dioxide emission per $1 million of market in 2015. And Procter and Gamble's carbon dioxide emissions were 5 times greater than Johnson and Johnson. Even though the two companies generated same level of revenues, but the carbon dioxide emission values are changing. So it may be depending on the products. Even though the similar lines of products are being maintained, so the care they are taking is the reason, maybe the reason for variations in the contribution for carbon dioxide emissions. This is a pic shown in the same magazine. So coming to the last part, that is sustainability competition. So in my topic of selection, that is tablets manufacturing by following different granulation methods like wet granulation, dry granulation, direct compression. So they are contributing for the pollution of environment, and they need to be controlled. How it can be handled means what are the things that are involved. For example, various solvents, particular organic solvents, if at all they are involved in the granulation process, they will contribute for the environment pollution. Hence they need to be controlled, they should be under the control. For example, how it can be done means whatever the vapors and whatever the solvents that are involved, at some stage they may be converted into vapors, for example during drying stage of the granules. So those vapors should not be allowed to enter into the environment or air or water sewages like that. They should be under control, they should be collected into a closed bags or containers, and they need to be recycled, and they may be used for further usage. So like that there should be a proper planning for the handling of the organic waste, otherwise it will be entering into the environment, means the sustainability will be lost. So not only in that criteria, if the environment is not maintained properly, the sustainability or the long run usage of the machinery, if it is having a life of 6 months, so because of improper maintenance, that 6 months life may be cut shorted. The machine may not run up to that extent. In that case, the quality of the tablets or granules will change, and the final product analysis or the final product evaluation tests may fail, which may leads to the loss of cost. So much of loss will be there for the profit side. So this is the overall impact of environment in relation with the pharmaceutical industry, and there should be a good sustainability. Otherwise, either the environment will be damaged by the pharmaceutical processes, or the pharmaceutical machinery or the quality of the products may be degraded or declined due to the lack of proper environment. So this is what I want to say. Thank you, one and all, for listening to the presentation.